Yo, what's up, peoples? We back into the Maschine software, and as a request from a subscriber, I'm gonna be doing a grimy type beat today. So I'm just gonna get into it, show you exactly what I did and how I came up with the beat. So the first thing I did was I started the project at 120 BPM, and I dragged over a drum loop. And this is what the drum loop sounded like before I did anything to it. Alright, so once I dragged it over, a key thing that you want to do is if you're working with loops and you want a time stretch, the easy way to do it is when you drag something over, hold shift, hit browse, and then that will bring up this section right here. So normally when it comes in, it'll be on sampler. That's like the default setting. You want to just change that to audio. And once you change it to audio, that's going to automatically time stretch the actual loop that you're working with to fit your project tempo. Once I brought the sample in at 120, I then dropped the tempo down to 75 BPM, and this is what it sounded like after the time stretching. And also to note, once I got it in there, you can see right here, it was the source BPM was 120 when I started. You have these three different selections. You got repitch, stretch, and format. Normally it'll start off on stretch. I took it to repitch. That way you got that grimy type, detune type sample. I felt like would fit the vibe that I was going for. And this is what it sounds like. Alright, so after I got that down, the next thing I did was I went straight to the sample. The sample starts like this. Alright, so that's the sample, and clearly you can tell that's not 75 BPM. And I also didn't want to just bring it over and time stretch it to match the BPM. I kind of wanted to flip it a little bit before I did that. So what I did was I played it like this. But again, that still wasn't like the grimy feel that I was looking for. So what I ended up doing was I went into sampling and I resampled what I was playing. So to give you an example, you can just hit a pad, right? And then it would start off right here. So we want to resample. So we start in internal, master. We're going to click over one, and then we're going to make sure this is on detect. All right, you want to hit start, and once you hit start, you can just start playing the pattern that you want. So I'll hit start. All right, stop it. And now that sample, the way that I flipped it and everything is on this pad. All right, and from there, what I did was I'm going to just delete that, because we don't need that. I have it on this pad right here. And then what I did from there, I just time stretched this to fit the BPM that we were working in. So it sounded like this. And the reason why I did that is because sometimes I don't want my chops to be so on point. It just adds a whole new twist when you're playing it by hand. So I did it that way. And then when you put both of them together, you have the drums and the sample. It sounds like this. Alright, so we got that. We got the drums, we got the sample. Now the next thing that I wanted to do was add a bass line. And since we kind of detuned the sample a little bit, we had to find the key. I found out that the sample was in E flat minor. So I just set the key or the scale to be in E flat minor, and then I went and played a bass line along with it. And the bass sounds something like this. I'm gonna mute everything. All Alright, so that's the bass line, and when you put all three of them together, you have this. Alright, so now I got the bass of the beat. So as I got it structured like this, since all the elements, you know, as far as the musical elements are all really within the sample, there was no way that I could kind of drop the sample out. So I wanted to find something else that I can play along with the drums that will keep the energy of it, and you know, a rapper could kind of flow over top of it and just kind of mix up the beat a little bit. So I went and grabbed the synth sound, and I just kind of played that along with the bass line and the drums, just to kind of keep the vibe going while the sample was out. So you can hear the synth line right here. Yeah, very simple. When you put that together with the drums and the bass, it sounds like this. Alright, so we got that part going on, and I felt like it needed another instrument to kind of like liven it up, just to give it a little bit more energy. So I went and got some horns, and let's see. The horns are like this, and again, everything is still in E flat minor key, so this is how it sounds when you play them together. Alright, so that was that. And the last key little element that I felt I needed to add is something that would make it transition to the next bar, just to let you know that something else is coming. So it's like a turnaround. And what I did was I got some organ sound, and it sounds something like this. You know, just real simple. I put that in chord mode. Again, we still in the same key. Once I added that with the other elements, this is how it sounds. And that was pretty much it. That was the whole beat right there. All right, so let's go into the arrangement and check it out. So that was pretty much how I was able to make a grimy type beat using a sample inside the Maschine MK3. Please click one of these videos over here that was suggested to you, and until the next video, I'll holla at y'all. Peace.